What is up, guys? Warthog3 here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a guide and review on the F-4E Phantom II and Ace Combat Infinity. So without further ado, let's get into it. The F-4E is one of many airplanes to be unlocked in Ace Combat Infinity. Its base cost is free. The F-4E comes free to you when you first start your Ace Combat Infinity multiplayer experience. It also becomes the first aircraft set that you play with. A unique feature that comes with the F-4E Phantom II in Ace Combat Infinity is that it has very cheap levels 1 to 10 upgrades. The maximum amount of credits you're going to have to pay for one upgrade on the F-4E is 880,000 credits, which is very good for an aircraft. It is a very economical aircraft to buy upgrades for. Now talking about the F-4E's stats. The first stat that you see on the F-4E is speed, and the speed on the F-4E is actually quite good. I would rate it as high. Fully upgraded level 15 F-4E can reach speeds of about 1,500 miles an hour going down from the sky. As you will generally notice on the stat bar, the F-4E's speed stat is just a little bit ahead of everything else that the F-4E has to offer. Speed stat on the F-4 can actually reach a letter of S, which means very good. The F-4E's speed stat is the highest and generally increases the most with leveling the aircraft. Now for mobility on the F-4E. The F-4E's mobility is rather low. I would judge it as about medium-low. It is definitely not the quickest turning aircraft in the game, but fully leveled up to 15, it can actually reach a stat or letter of B+, which allows it to be fairly maneuverable, but probably not the most desirable by other players. Stability on the F-4E is pretty average. It can reach a top letter at level 15 of a C+. Not much more to be said on that. The F-4E's air-to-air damage is also average. It reaches a top letter of C, which is again not the best but not the worst, although I wouldn't recommend the F-4E for dogfighting in this game. Now talking about the ground damage on the F-4E, it reaches a top stat of C+, which just basically means that the F-4E excels more in the multi-role category as a ground pounder than a dogfighter. And my recommended aircraft setup with the F-4E will include the ground-based weapon for this very reason. Now talking about the last stat on the F-4E, which is defense, this is high just like the speed stat. It is the second highest stat on the F-4. You will definitely notice at the higher levels that the F-4E can soak up a considerable amount of damage from enemy missiles and machine guns. Taking a look at these stats, as the speed and defense are the highest ones on the F-4E, I feel it is best used as a high-speed ground-pounding multi-role that can do dogfighting or air battle at some time when need be. Going into part slots, from levels 1 to 5, the F-4E has slightly less than average amounts of slots at 17. When you reach the non-standard upgrade request at level 6, it gains 2 part slots for a total of 19, which is just barely below average. After 19 part slots from levels 6 to 14, at level 15 the F-4 gains 1 additional part slot for half of total amount of part slots at 20. This is only for level 15 of course, so be prepared to save up your credits if you need that many part slots. Special weapon loadout of the F-4E consists of 2 ground-based weapons and 1 air-to-air missile. These include HPAA, which you get at the beginning from level 1, LAGM or LAGM at level 4, and then Unguided Bomb at level 7 or UGB. Overall, I feel that this is a very solid weapon loadout for a beginning aircraft, even after the LAGM or LAGM and Unguided Bombs got nerfed. HPAA, since it is your only air-to-air missile, will make a good air-to-air setup for the F-4E, although this is not what I normally recommend for the aircraft. The LAGMs make a good sniping ground target loadout, but I feel like this isn't another strength of the F-4E. The best setup is to go with the UGB, or the Iron Hammers as I like to call them, as they are good all-around ground destroyers that can be used for any purpose, and deadly when combined with high speed and tough defense that is reminiscent on the F-4E. Overall, I feel like the best setup on this aircraft, the F-4E, is to run unguided bombs, as I just said, and then your choice of explosive parts for the bombs and a mix of missile and mobility parts. This will really help keep the all-roundedness of the F-4E and improve its somewhat sluggish mobility. But overall, what do I think of the F-4E? I feel like it is your classic Ace Combat starter aircraft, as it has been in the previous Ace Combats. You're either going to love it or hate it. For me, I loved it. For some of you, you might hate it. That's just how it's going to be. It is a very nice beginning aircraft though, because it can go to level 15, has an excellent special weapon loadout, and cheap upgrade costs until you reach at least level 15 anyway. It gets the job done when you need it to be done. Now unfortunately there's no special variants or special aircraft of the F-4E. There's just this base vanilla version and then the F-4G Wild Weasel, which is a whole nother aircraft that is quite different from this one. Anyway guys, that's the F-4E in a nutshell. Make sure you give it a shot at least. It's not the worst aircraft in the game. Trust me, if you understand how to use it, it can actually be quite good. I've gotten numerous MVPs with the aircraft, especially before the unguided bomb and LAGM were nerfed. It's been slightly less effective now that that's happened, but overall it's still a really good aircraft. Make sure you guys let me know whether you want to see more of these or I'm not really good at it and you just want me to stop. Because I will, seriously, I will do more of these. I will create a series. I have a lot of the planes in Ace Combat Infinity, and you know, I can review them all. I just figured this might be just an experimental thing since the F-4E is probably the aircraft I have the most flight time and experience with. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and I might see you on another one of these.